Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Janelle Slade. Jay has the night off. Tonight, new information from School District 2 as it launches its own investigation surrounding a Billings student accused of raping 5 teenage girls.
And student safety is our priority. It's the most important thing that we can do.
Superintendent Greg Upham says he called for that investigation as soon as he learned of allegations against former Skyview student 17-year-old Braden Pond. Now, Upham tells us Pond is not in school. In fact, he says he's been suspended to an alternative setting for his safety and the safety of his victims. Upham says now it's about protecting the victims of the past and other students in the future.
We're very concerned about this situation, and student safety is our priority. It's the most important thing that we can do. So that's what we'll work toward in anything that we do moving forward and looking back. It's all student safety.
The court documents describe 5 alleged rapes of local teenage girls in detail. Police say the sexual assaults happened from February of 2017 to May of 2017. Pond is accused of 5 different counts of felony sexual intercourse without consent against 5 girls ages 14 to 17. Charging documents state several of the assaults took place in the cab of Pond's truck, including at the Skyview High School parking lot, the Billings Heights Walmart parking lot, an open field, and at a house party. One victim told police Pond placed his hand over her mouth and held her wrist back during the assault. He then told her, quote, "No one is going to know about this." Another victim told police she tried to get away from Pond by repeatedly striking him in the face with her cell phone until a friend intervened to help. Now, that friend told police when she realized what was happening, she started pounding on the truck window. The Yellowstone County Attorney's Office has named multiple witnesses in this case. Each charge carries up to 100 years in prison. Pond is scheduled to appear in court for the first time on September 4th. Mourners from coast to coast are paying tribute to Senator John McCain, who lost his battle with brain cancer over the weekend. Before he died, the Arizona Republican wrote a farewell message to the American people, and it was read aloud today. Chris Martinez has more from Phoenix, Arizona.
Senator John McCain's Senate desk was draped in black cloth with white roses on the Senate's first day back in session since his death.
He was bigger than any one state. He always belonged to America and to the world.
Both Republicans and Democrats offered praise for the 6-term senator's ability to reach across the aisle.
Do you have any thoughts at all about John McCain?
But for much of the day, President Trump was noticeably silent. The flag atop the White House that was at half-staff over the weekend was back up Monday morning. Later, the flag was lowered again. From the Senate floor, Republican Senator Johnny Isakson from Georgia urged the president to drop his grudge.
Anybody who in any way tarnishes the reputation of John McCain deserves a whipping.
Joe McCain says he's perplexed by President Trump's treatment of his brother.
This refusal to call him a hero it sounds petulant. It sounds childish.
At an evangelical leadership dinner at the White House Monday night, the president offered his first public comment about McCain.
We very much appreciate everything that Senator McCain has done for our country.
Senator McCain will lie in state here at the Arizona Capitol in Phoenix on Wednesday. On Friday, he'll lie in state at the U.S. Capitol, and his funeral will be held at the National Cathedral on Saturday. McCain's former campaign manager read the senator's parting words.
I lived and died a proud American. Do not despair of our present difficulties. We believe always in the promise and greatness of America.
Chris Martinez, CBS News, Phoenix, Arizona.
McCain personally requested former Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama speak at his funeral. He'll be laid to rest during a private ceremony Sunday at the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. He was 81 years old. Today, Governor Steve Bullock ordered Montana flags to fly half-staff in honor of Senator McCain. State and federal flags will remain lowered until Sunday afternoon, September 2nd, the day of McCain's internment. Bullock's proclamation states that McCain was a hero in war and in Congress. Senator McCain passed away Saturday. Senator McCain spent some time here in Billings in the run-up to the 2012 election. He was here to campaign for Republican Senate candidate Denny Rehberg. Rehberg lost a close election to Jon Tester that year. McCain met with volunteers at the Republican Party's Get Out the Vote headquarters. He also made a campaign stop in Great Falls on that trip. At the time, Democrats were in control of the Senate. As a presidential candidate in 2008, McCain carried Montana over Barack Obama. Well, the U.S. and Mexico have announced a deal on trade to overhaul NAFTA. But so far, Canada is the odd country out. CBS News correspondent Mola Lenghi has more from the White House on what could happen next.
It's a big day for trade, big day for our country.
President Trump announced his administration has reached a trade deal with Mexico.
This is something that's very special for our manufacturers and for our farmers from both countries, for all of the people that work for jobs.
The deal would require more auto parts be made in the U.S. and Mexico than under NAFTA. It also requires that as much as 45% of parts be made by workers earning at least $16 an hour. Mexico's president was on speakerphone for the Oval Office announcement.
I think this is something very positive for the United States and Mexico.
It's unclear how Canada will figure into the agreement. The president said it's not going to be called NAFTA, but instead will be referred to as the United States-Mexico Trade Agreement. President Trump says negotiations with Canada will begin soon, and he threatened to hit Canadian cars with tariffs if a deal is not reached.
We'll give them a chance to probably have a separate deal. We could have a separate deal, or we could put it into this deal.
A spokesperson for Canada's foreign minister released a statement that says, "We will only sign a new NAFTA that is good for Canada and good for the middle class. Canada's signature is required." President Trump says he'll terminate NAFTA once the new agreement is finished and implemented. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, the White House.
And President Trump says his staff worked with Mexico's outgoing president and the new president-elect to negotiate this deal. Tonight, MTN's Russell Nimitz has more on how the new trade agreement could help Montana wheat and barley growers. Russell.
U.S. agricultural organizations have been watching this renegotiation process very carefully ever since the rewriting of NAFTA began about a year ago. Lola Raska is the executive vice president of the Montana Grain Growers Association and says export markets like Mexico are very important.
Nationally, Mexico has emerged as the largest customer for U.S. wheat. Traditionally, that's a lot of hard red winter wheat from the Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas area, of course, because of proximity and transportation costs. But they do buy some hard red spring from Montana. For Montana specifically, they have become the largest market for our malting barley exports. And so we were very concerned about losing some of those markets and becoming a reliable supplier to them.
And she says the new U.S. and Mexico trade agreement will help the U.S. maintain important market share that was being lost to other wheat and barley exporting countries.
They were already starting to buy initial purchases from Argentina and from Russia, and that may continue in the future. We may have damaged some of that reliability that we enjoyed previously.
Now keep in mind that most agricultural organizations involved with major commodities and proteins simply wanted to maintain the zero tariffs that work to stimulate U.S. agricultural exports to Mexico. And that's because the USDA reports that Mexico was actually the #3 overall market for U.S. ag products last year, valued at $18.6 billion. With that, we'll go ahead and send it back to you, Janelle.
All right, thanks so much, Russell. Turning our attention to weather, we're joined by Q2 meteorologist Ed McIntosh. And Ed, it was really, really cold this morning.
It's going to get colder tomorrow morning. Let's go ahead and take a look. That was worth a look right there, wasn't it? Okay, we got temperatures that are going to continue to drop 30s and 40s first thing in the morning. And in fact, within a few degrees of some record cold temperatures, not just here in south central Montana, northern Wyoming, but all across the state of Montana. The high line could be very chilly. Those 30s, certainly cold enough that we could be looking at some areas of frost and freeze to go along with it. But once the sun comes out in the afternoon, we're going to talk about a turnaround in some of the temperatures, still below seasonal averages, but talk about rain and snow will disappear for a while. Give you all the details on the forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Some good news. Thanks so much, Ed. Still to come on the Q2 10 o'clock news, we unveil the dollars raised at this year's Buildings Clinic Classic, and we look back at the classics of the past in tonight's Q2 Rewind. And later, we look at an iconic landmark in northern Wyoming that's now up for sale. And in sports, Scott, here's what your Cats and Grizz are saying just days before their season openers.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Janelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.